Hi people and huskies, welcome to my channel Me and Places. Nowadays, because of this isolation and being home so much, it's more like me and books. So today I will be reviewing one of my favorite books ever, which is Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House. Shortly about this book, well, I already said it's one of my favorite books ever. Besides that, it's for sure the best book about haunted house. And besides that, this is also one of my favorite spooky books because this one is quite spooky. So this is a gothic horror novel written in 1959 by Shirley Jackson, whom I just adore. Now a little bit about the plot. So there is this doctor who wants to make a research about a haunted house. So he invites few people there for this research, if you can call it that way. And all of those people have something in common. They all have experienced something paranormal. So he believes they will be more sensitive for anything happening in the house. One of the people who arrives is the main character, who is Eleanor. She will be the main storyteller. We will see and experience everything through her eyes. Actually, just the first part of it, when Eleanor arrives to the house, it's quite a long part, it takes many pages, and it's really needed for you to understand the character. You see, she has been taking care of her ill mother, who eventually died, and she's it's like a person who's been kept out of the real world for a while. She feels like this socially awkward, a bit childish kind of person. So when she's being asked to come to this house, it's like the whole adventure for her. She's finally escaping the boring life, making new, unusual choices for her, and she has this urge for, new adventure, new kind of life, freedom. So we see that through her own eyes, this is kind of a positive experience for her. But this house where she arrives, let me tell you, it will be very accepted for her, but in a wrong way. It will basically possess her. So during this novel, this house will kind of drive her mad, if you can say it this way. You will feel how less and less stable her mind becomes. In the end, the other people asks her to leave, because this seems like the most sensible and right decision for her own health. Of course, she doesn't want to go, and that is when, BAM! The ending happens. I will not tell you how it ends because it will be a major spoiler and I don't want to give you that away. You'll just have to read it yourself, and believe me, it will be an interesting one. You just open a book, you read first few verses, and believe me, these are the best verses to start any book like this. They will engage you same moment. And all this book is very easy to read. It felt like I read it on one breath. There is something very fine in Shirley's manner to write. Those words just flow so nicely when you read it. And besides that, she has an awesome skill to deliver the mood. Her books are very moody, if there is a word like that. Probably not. Her novels are very atmospheric. That's better. If she wants you to be afraid, you will. And if she wants you to laugh, you will. And this book will take you to many, many moods like that. I love how people interact in the book. They have this kind of sarcastic way talking to each other sometimes. So there is something behind the words that you need to understand, and that's really cool. I also liked how multi-layered and complex the characters are. They are not simply good or bad, they are egoistic, at the same time caring, as, normal people. I also liked what makes it spooky. It's not a primitive way of scaring the hell out of you. It actually takes the best victim out of whole group, which is the main character Eleanor, and she's a person who has her own mind problems. So that's where the house comes in. So basically this idea that the worst demons are those that are in your mind already, it's really tempting, it's really realistic, so I like that. For me, that's what makes it more scary than some primitive ghost story. In the end, you will be left thinking how much of her tragic storyline is on the response of the house or her own mad mind. And I really love that besides this small piece of the story, where you need to kind of perceive it in your own way. Do you think it's more about her being mad or the house being haunted? Still, the storyline and the ending, it answers enough questions to be a satisfying novel. I hope this made sense, because it did in my mind. By the way, this is not only my favorite horror book. Many people who are into horror genre and many famous people as well have praised this book. There is a verse by Stephen King: stepping into Hill House is like stepping into the mind of a madman. It isn't long before you weird yourself out. And there were more famous people who actually enjoyed this book and call it one of the best horror stories ever. It was also a nominee for a reward in its own time. I would give all possible stars to this book. And talking about stars, I have my own star mug over here. You can see stars all over. They are on the wrong side though, but still it's my star mug, which reminds me of this book. And why is that so? You will have to read to find out. I also want to talk a little bit about the TV show which is based on this book. It's out on Netflix and I believe it's also called The Haunting of Hill House. This is a very interesting TV show because it's kind of inspired by this book, but the writers and director made a very smart decision. It's not actually based on the book. The storyline is not from a book. And I believe it's one of the best horror TV shows I have ever seen. Now, don't expect it to be same as book because, as I told, the story is very different. Or vice versa, if you already watched the TV show and after that you want to read the book that inspired the TV show, also don't expect to have the same story. This is a very different one. But it has some details, like Mad Eleanor dancing in the red room, like Cup of Stars, or for example a verse, journeys end on lovers meeting, something like that. It's actually by Shakespeare, but it's repeated in this book for so many times, and when I finally heard it in a TV show, I was like, oh, that's the moment. So there's like small recognizable details which refers to the book, and it's very nice to find them throughout the TV show. I think it was smart not to go with the storyline of the book because it would be so hard to deliver it on the same level as the book does. Just watch it if you're interested in mystery and horror, because it's a really good one. So that's all I have to say about this book. Tell me if you read it, what do you think about it, and thank you so much for watching. You know what? Stay curious. Bye!